Hey, good Wednesday evening to you, everyone. How are you? It is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. I, being the glad to do the seeing, am he, Bill Sylvie. That's me, and I hope you're having a positively wonderful evening tonight. StreamYard seems to be playing up, and I apologize for that. 33K7, good to see you over there. Hey, Cyrus Wright, Rabbit Wrangler, Rob Turner. Sir, I hope things have gotten a little better for you. CJD Young, the third, not the second, not the fourth, the third. Perfect, right there. Um, and 22J22K5J, who I think is 33K7 over on YouTube. Could be wrong about that. Damien X247, so many numbers. So many numbers. But yeah, I hope you guys are all having a positively positive evening. So I want to talk about what's coming up and what's going on with the guac, first and foremost. But before I get into that, let me ask you a favor. If you haven't already done so, good Lord, I am being chopped to hell and gone here. But if you haven't already done it, please click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications, and you will find out about all the fun stuff that we've got in store for you guys here on the show. It is really super duper choppy, and I don't know why. I am not at all sure what is going on with the stream. It's fine in OBS. Hey, Orbital Air, good to see you. Bob Jester, good to see you. Yeah, it's fine in OBS. OBS is not showing any major issues with as far as the CPU usage, and it's currently sitting at 3.5% CPU usage. So let me, you know what? Let me try something real quick. I'm going to knock this down. We're going to knock this down to 720 and see if it helps. And I can already tell it ain't helping. Except OBS drives me up the wall too, but I don't think it's OBS. So we're going to come back in here. I'm going to set our settings back. Yeah, I don't think it's OBS, and I don't think it's something wrong with my speed of my connection on this end. I mean, I can certainly look at speed tests. Nothing's lagging on my PC. Okay. I've got I don't know, Crater Lake, Devil's Lake, for goodness sake. I don't know what generation of processor is in here, but it's 8 cores, 12 threads, 48 gigs of RAM. It should be doing just fine, and it is stuttering and falling all over itself. Does my tap water taste weird? So I live in Florida, and one thing I can tell you, when I was a little dungeon delver, zero level fighting kid, we moved from northern Alabama to Florida, and I thought the water here tasted so weird and bad. Like, I was like, gah. But I gradually got used to it. Now, with that said, I do use a water filter, but generally speaking, water just tastes like water to me. I don't have any particularly weird taste associated with water. What was I talking about? I don't even remember now. So the GUAC, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, is coming. Doomsword Deathmaster, Dooms himself, will be here tomorrow. He will be here tomorrow. We will be doing like a 9 to 11 or something like that live stream. And we are going to walk through how to run games, sign up for games, sign up to run games, which I guess would be the same thing as running games. How to sign up for and play in games, and how to run games over on the Guac Discord. And if you don't know what the Guac is, that's the great underground online gaming convention that we like to do around these parts. It's over on Discord, like it's a location. Just head out there, guys. But we have it on Discord. We have a dice roller. Discord has a really good audio video setup so you can talk, listen, share maps, all that jazzmatazz, and hang out with us and game at a convention. What does it cost you? You might be asking. I'm glad you asked. Nothing. It costs you absolutely nothing to attend the great underground online gaming convention. And I'm pretty hyped about that. You don't have to fly. You don't have to worry about a hotel. Any snacks, beverages, anything like that, you can just get that at home. The only cost to you is hanging out and attending with us. If you want a cold beer, you don't have to settle for what's in the hotel bar. Just sit down and drink. But we've got a pretty good little thing we do, and the last few years it's been a lot of fun. People have had a lot of success with it. I know Doomsword Deathmaster is going to run some stuff. I know Labyrinth Lady is going to run some stuff. I know lots of people who are planning on running some stuff. The great James F. Keck. Yes, that James F. Keck. James F. Keck. James F. Keck. James F. Keck will be at the Guac. He'll probably be running his Blazing Sixes games, which is completely cromulent. I approve of it. And so to that end, if you want to play, then by all means play. Now, the Discord itself is already up. It's already set up. You can sign up for the Discord. We do have the sign up bot is in place, but if you're a little like, I don't really know how that works, then tomorrow night's show, it's doing that thing again. Tomorrow night's show will be, let me see. Get back into the thing. Tomorrow night's show will be going over all the fun stuff and how you do it at the Guac. FMCS Recon, good to see you. Glad to see you. So we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready for that. Let me see if I can send you guys, invite people. If I do that. Okay, give me just a second. So here's the thing. If you have streamer mode on Discord, it won't show you guys, like if I share Discord, it won't show you guys a bunch of information. All right. It will stop that information from being shared off this computer. Unfortunately, what that means is I can't do invites because it shows the invite on screen, but this is what I want. So there am our invite, and I hope you guys will join us over at the Discord, at the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention Discord. Now, this particular Discord, that is that actual invite there, and I'm going to double check this. But that actual Discord does not expire. I know we've had a lot of problems with the Discord server address jig. expiring and me saying, "Hey, yeah, you guys, you know, it's very simple for you to," and then the invite expires and you can't log in. So Don McVitie, Don the DM, has been kind enough to get this set for us. So it is permanent now. It is permanent now. So let me make sure of that. Oh, you taking off, Jorge? Well, good night to you. So I'm just scrolling down to where Don shared me the permanent link as I asked him to fix up for us. And once I know that I've got that, we will be good to go. Yeah, I think we should be able. I think we should be good to go. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, negative, nasty remarks, please, by all means, feel free to ask them. But tomorrow night is the big time to ask a question about what we're doing at the Guac. Some folks have asked, like, who are the artists going to be? That's fine, Jorge. Welcome back, Jorge. Here's a language peculiarity, I should say. And Jorge, I think you'll get a kick out of this. All right. To can mean in the direction of. Go to that bookshelf. Go to the store. Go to sleep. To, of course, is TWO, is the English word for the second number in our Roman numeral numbering system. No, I'll just get you kicked and banned, Finn. To, TOO, means also or in addition to. I do not know of a language where in any characters or sounds of that language you get this. Hey, I need to get objects 1 and 3. Should I get the middle one also? And I'll say, yeah, 1 and 3, but also go to 2. Go to number 2 in addition to 1 and 3. Is there any language where it occurs that you have 3 words that sound the same and mean different things and stacked together in a sentence like that? Whether it's another occurrence in English or whether it's Spanish or Hungarian or French or Japanese or Baffin Island Eskimo or whatever. Go to. I don't think there is. Gonzalo Lira's bar tab with the 20. Thank you very much. Have a poll in the polls channel. Doomsword created on the Guac server looking for interest in a Beck Me basic game set in Mystara. Tall Tales of the Wee Folk expansion Woodland. Okay, well, there you go, guys. First of all, Gonzalo, thank you for buying a big billboard advertising your game. For any other game masters, you don't have to do that. I absolutely appreciate it, and that will go towards the continuing well-being of this show. But Gonzalo, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super. And I'm just going to leave it up there till it expires. So thank you, guys. You can check that out if you want to hit the Discord. Let me paste that in there. There's the Discord again in the chat. You can copy and paste that. You can hop over and you can check out Gonzalo Lira's bar tabs, Beck Me basic game set in Mystara using the Tall Tales of the Wee Folk expansion. I know We Warriors was one of the first third-party publishers for OD&D. I feel like I have seen a PDF of Palace of the Vampire Princess, or Palace of the Vampire Queen. And I will tell you this, having looked at it, Palace of the Vampire Queen, there's not much there. There is not much there. It's very lean on the ground. Which is not to say it's bad. I'm just saying it came out in 1974, like right on the heels of OD&D. It may be the first third-party publication D&D book. Maybe Palace of the Vampire Queen. Let's find out. You know what? We have the internet. They have the internet on computers now. Let's see. Let's see what it say here. I was wrong about the date, by the way. You know what? Let me do this. Let's do that. Share. So here we go. This is Palace of the Vampire Queen. Yes, we've got the video, Robert Phillips. So We Warriors, 1976. Notable for being the first standalone role-playing adventure to be published. So while it was not 1974, that's a terrible cover scan. Do not adjust your set. That is just bad. I feel like this thing's been republished a few times also. Let's see. Palace of the Vampire Queen is a simple scenario for TSR's D&D game set on the Isle of Baelor in the Misty Isles archipelago. A vampire queen has kidnapped a dwarven princess and the heroes must rescue the princess. The vampire's palace is a 5-level dungeon, some rooms containing monsters, other rooms are empty. The adventure includes a complete map for the game master and a blank map for the players to fill in as they explore. As RPG historian Stu Horvath noted, everything is static. The occupants of the rooms wait for the players to arrive in order to react. Several rooms have detailed descriptions of furniture and other contents implying that the rooms labeled empty are literally empty. It was, let's see, written by Pete and Judy Karastan with art by Brad Schenk under his pseudonym Momo. It was published as 15 loose-leaf sheets and an outer folder. The authors sold their product out of the trunk of their car to begin with, but soon negotiated an arrangement with TSR where, although it was an unlicensed product, TSR exclusively distributed to promote the sale of D&D. This made Palace of the Vampire Queen one of the first 4 We Warriors products to be widely sold as a result. Occasional copies of the adventure would arrive at TSR missing a page, and TSR's staff would add a photocopy of the missing page to the package. Palace of the Vampire Queen was the first published standalone role-playing game adventure, although TSR's adventure Temple of the Frog had been published a year prior and thus was the first published RPG adventure. It was included in the D&D Blackmore expansion booklet and was not a standalone adventure. TSR did not publish any standalone adventures until 1978. We Warriors published a second edition in 76 that consisted of either 17 or 24 loose-leaf sheets. Sometimes pages were printed double-sided, sometimes only single-sided. The third and fourth printings in 76 were 13 double-sided loose-leaf pages. We Warriors followed up in 77 with a second adventure set on Baelor Dwarven Glory, which was also distributed by TSR. In late 77, the rapidly growing TSR stopped distributing third-party merchandise, and the fifth printing of POTVQ took the form of a pamphlet-sized 30-page center-bound book that was distributed by We Warriors. The sixth and final edition, also distributed by We Warriors, was a 28-page pamphlet-sized book with a cardstock cover. And pamphlet size brings to me idea that, you'd be standing around in an airport in the 1970s and somebody would come up to you with a flower and a copy of Palace of the Vampire Queen. Would you like to accept this flower on behalf of the Religious Consciousness Center? If you know, you know. Let's see. We Warriors ceased publication in 1978. In 2019, Precise Intermedia acquired the We Warriors product line with a re-release of POTVQ as a remastered reprint. Anybody got it? What do you think? Let me know in the chat or in the comments down below. In his 2023 book, Monsters, Aliens, and Holes in the Ground, sounds like a fun weekend, RPG historian Stu Horvath noted, in Palace of the Vampire Queen, nothing makes sense. Stu, can I tell you something? That's life, buddy. That's reality. That's getting up every day. The goddamn Saturn won't start. It's 10 degrees outside, and yet everything's wet. There's no snow, because it only just got to 10 degrees before the sun rose. Your kid's decided that he wants to be homeschooled from now on. Your wife keeps making vegan food. And Stu over here is telling me that Palace of the Vampire Queen doesn't make any sense? Stu, buddy, what does? Anyway. Yes, I am. And don't call me Shirley, Jorge. I can make a hat, a brooch, a pterodactyl. Let's see. The only context is provided in a one-page background that boils down to a couple of key facts, most of which were established by the title. As with many novice dungeon designs, the palace seems to be populated the way that it is because it might be neat or might be fun, or in the case of the Garlic Garden, probably useful for the players. Horvath concluded Palace of the Vampire Queen proves that extremities of strangeness are really a baseline of the role-playing game hobby. And he finally gets it. So that is Palace of the Vampire Queen, and you can take it or leave it, depending on how you feel about Wikipedia. I seem to have a modicum of not stuttering going on anymore, so good for that. Rob Turner, be well. Take care. Yeah, I looked at it and it is literally like Monsters and Treasures set 1 through 9. It just, so what? With all respect, I mean, it's landmark. I guess I might say this. If you're somebody who finds a wax cylinder recording of Thomas Edison playing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, you've got something there. That's an artifact. If you ask me if I want to listen to that or physical graffiti on vinyl, it's going to be physical graffiti every time. That doesn't make it not important. That just doesn't, important and good and useful, Archie, upside of today, I've discovered what your new favorite subclass in all of D&D, and that is the Path of Zealot Barbarian. I don't know what that is. I'll take your word for it. Hail Unbreaded Lobster, Michael Connor, good to see you. I think Archie snuck in here. Late, and your daughter was being hyper, and you just got her to bed. You're exhausted. You've had a long day. Well, I hope it's gotten better, Archie. Is she the zealot barbarian whose path you've had to follow? I don't know. Dr. Urias Papers 2020. What is my take on the changes WotC made to Grumsh in the 2024 Player's Handbook? Gods shouldn't be in the Player's Handbook. That should be the purview for the Dungeon Master. Now that we've gotten that aside, everything they've done with 6th edition D&D is bad. Every flavor change they've made is bad. They haven't made a good one. They have not made a there's nothing in the flavor that makes me go, oh, well, no, I can see that. Orcs are lawful evil. If they worship Grumsh, they are absolutely evil. Orcs worship Hexter anyway. Good, Finn. Yeah, that's awful and stupid sounding. Not what you said. I mean, the information that you conveyed, not how you said it, or any reflection on you, Dr. Urias Papers. I would not want to play in that campaign. That just sounds dumb. If you want crap like that, go play, I don't know, Glorantha. Jaroon. Go play Jaroon. For heaven's sake, don't show any of these people Empire of the Petal Throne. Zach, he is Doom Swords. He is at Doom Swords here on the channel. Zachary Melvin asks. I mean, cute orcs, purple drow, good goblins, all that stuff. I mean, maybe it fits in another role-playing game, but when I'm playing D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, it's not that. Okay? Well, Bill, what do you think about armor absorbing damage? What do you think about using an open spell point system? What do you think about, what do you think about meta magic feats? Those are probably all good mechanics and options for players, but they're not Dungeons and Dragons. You know, you asked me about an extensive, granular, heavily textured and flavored, critical hit and critical fumble system for every type of weapon and for every type of magic spell in a D100 grid where you can open end and then just have exploding hundreds. And I'm going to say, that's awesome. I played Rollmaster. That sounds really good. That sounds fun. I don't want that in D&D. So none of these things do I want in D&D. You didn't know about that, Michael, or has that happened again? Because I did, like, late 2023, I think. I did, there was like I did a whole bunch of videos about that. Oh, he just found out. Okay. He just found out. The Zealot Barbarian has Undying Rage, which means even if they drop to 0 hit points, they keep fighting as long as they rage, and the new D&D rules remove this feature, which is an awful change. I mean, don't use their rule? What about Talos Lanta? I never played Talos Lanta. I don't know about that one, Cyrus. Favorite god is, from D&D is Helm. Don't know enough about Helm to say. I am a Hieronius or Palor kind of guy myself when it comes right down to it. Foltus, I can do Foltus. There's a Foltus, a Multus, a Mogus. I don't like barbarian as a class at all, ever, under any circumstances. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I don't like the mechanics of new D&D, not even a little bit. And I've disliked this going all the way back to 3rd edition. I'm sorry. I'm going to take 4 levels of Paladin, but then I'm going to switch over to Rogue, but then I'm going to come back and take Sorcerer, then I'm going to hop back into Paladinhood. Oh my God, could you stop? Oh my God. I just... And myself and my buddy Eric, God rest his soul, we were indirectly responsible for creating the webcomic Rusty, which it's not, it's not hugely known. It's not like I just dropped a truth bomb or anything. But Rusty and Co. came from a discussion on an old, long dead message board between myself and Eric when I was having this exact same rant in 2003. And I made the assessment. That monsters, like classed monsters, so I made the joke that, yeah, why not just have an adventuring party that's like a dwarf, a gelatinous cube, a mimic, and a rust monster. And literally in the first panel of his comic displaying what it was, what I had just suggested, the dwarf got eaten by the gelatinous cube. They just schlup, and that was it. And by the end of the panel, he was a skeleton. But he continued the comic, and Kaz continued it for years and years and years and years, and it's awesome. It's Rusty & Co. You should absolutely check it out. The guy who makes it was awesome. I used to host it for him, but yeah, I got out of I'm going to have a website that I update every week or every day or something like that business a long time ago. Social media kind of took away the desire, need, want, whatever, to do a fixed internet website. That, and it's hard, it's like, I want to put an image here, break, just like, oh, this flies over here. And now, you've got weird fonts, one laying on top of the other, and the colors are all wrong. It's like, I just wanted to put a picture here. How much 3.5 did I play? Probably, I would say 2000 until 2006. 2006, and we did off and on. For a while. I played a lot of 3 and 3.5. I played D20 Star Wars. I played, which is not a bad game, by the way. And I played a lot of Wheel of Time, the RPG. And then we played just Dungeons and Dragons for like a year. 3.5 D&D for like a year and change. So it all bundled up, it was like 4 or 5 years rather of 3.5. We played other things too, Hero System. But it was around then that I started twisting the guys back around and bringing them back in the old school. So but I've never enjoyed the whole, I don't know. I don't want to go old man yells at cloud. How do I feel about the Cavalier? Finn, I like the Cavalier in Dragon Magazine without the Paladin being a Cavalier subclass. Paladins are in no way a Cavalier subclass. First of all, it opens the door to elves and half elves potentially being paladins. That ain't gonna happen. No. Second of all, cavaliers are vainglorious, arrogant, egotistical. Just, they're all about themselves. So I think that's the antithesis of what a paladin should be. Read up on the paladin in Unearthed Arcana, and then go back and read Three Hearts and Three Lions. Does any way that Holger behaves mesh with the way the Cavalier is written? No, of course not. Of course not. Hey, EOTB, good to see you. Now, Michael Connor, none of that Judges Guild discussion here. The flump gets no love for good reason. Okay, so Finfish, there actually is kind of. There are sequel hints. I don't want to spoil. You really need to read Three Hearts and Three Lions. But there are other stories, two of which were written by Poul Anderson, one of which was written by someone else with Poul Anderson's permission, that have ties into Three Hearts and Three Lions. One of those books is Operation Chaos, and the other is A Midsummer's Tempest. But the tie between Three Hearts and Three Lions and Operation Chaos is A Midsummer's Tempest. Yes, I do, Damien. I'm not unpopular opinion in the barbarian classroom. I don't agree with you, Daniel Rowan. I don't agree. Do I think WotC would have done better financially if they had diversified their gaming portfolio by continuing to support for BECME, AD&D, D20, and even 4E systems? Yes. Yes, I do. I have had... let me see. Sorry, I just got a message. Bear with me just a minute, guys. Sorry. But I have had, it'll wait. I've had Stephen Randy McFarlane on the show. He worked for Wizards of the Coast right at the time when Wizards of the Coast pulled everything offline. They pulled all the PDFs from DriveThru, all the PDFs from RPG Now, because that was still a going concern at the time, all of them off their sales store. And he said, you're making a huge mistake. What you need to do is give the old stuff away. Just put it up for download. Put the scans up for download. Let people have it for free. And he explained it, and it was kind of brilliant. Cavalier is not in Dungeon Magazine FMCS Recon. I know Steven, and I think he's an okay guy. I'm not calling anybody out, Dr. Phobos. I'm just saying I've met the guy, and just in the have a beer sense with shoot the shit about classic D&D, I think he's an okay guy. The Cavalier is in Dungeon Magazine. I think somebody check me out. I think he's in Dungeon Magazine 63. Yes. Disintegrate. That is the spell that will do it, Archie. Disintegrate. Or if you get hit with it, perhaps it's disinta, not so great. Anyway. So 72. Okay, I was close. Gosh darn it. I was that close. 72 to... I was only a year off. Less than a year. Yeah, I did that. Robert Phillips, there you go. And hey, if somebody does use disintegration on you, all that I'll have left are pictures of you. Huh? Huh? What do you know from funny? Anyhow, yeah, no, Wizards of the Coast would have been far better served to give away classic D&D. I don't mean give it away like say, yeah, it's your property. Just don't sell the PDFs. Just put the PDFs up for download. Copyright them. Say that they belong to us. But just let people have them. The goodwill would have ridden out the OGL debacle. They suck, but at least I can get all the classic Greyhawk stuff I want for free. Wizards of the Coast ability to handle their own PR is abysmal. It is abysmal. God. Oh my God. Dr. Phobos. That is brutal. That is absolutely brutal. By the way, if you guys want to see some brutal roasting, there's a YouTube channel. I'm not going to dig it up right now. I'm just not. But it is like heroic choral music that reads out put downs on terribly reviewed movies comment sections. You just comment section music lyrics, and they'll find ones that rhyme and build songs out of them. It's very funny. Oh, Rickles, he was the man. And I got to tell you something. I have seen Don Rickles perform before, and I've seen him interact with fans before. You get him just talking to a civilian, and he was the nicest, most mellow, sweet, nice guy. Alan King, too. Him and Alan King were like, putting them together on Carson was like watching two heavyweight prize fighters go at it for 15 rounds with the jabs they would trade. But anyway, let's move on. So I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There was a point at which in the history of Dungeons and Dragons when you could buy 3 editions all at the same. And I'm not talking about like for a couple of months. I mean, 4 years. You could order from TSR basic Dungeons and Dragons, original D&D and all supplements, or first edition advanced D&D. That was until like 1987. I know people who say that they were still able to order OD&D until 87 when stuff just completely started running out and they were just selling it off at Gen Con. Like they didn't even bother putting it in the catalog anymore. Just they would sell it to you at Gen Con. They literally just... They had 3 competing versions of D&D going at the same time. They were fine with people buying basic. And look, you can pull whatever cynical attitude you want and say, they only made basic because Gary was going to get sued by Dave Arness. Just get away with that. Just get away with that. No. They had 3 separate versions of D&D. Could you meld them? Absolutely. And I've told you guys before, I'll tell you at any turn, my first D&D was a copy of Keep on the Borderlands, specifically that geared for Holmes D&D. But there was never this sense of, the old edition has ended, you will buy the new edition or else. I mean, TSR. Beat this. TSR had comic stores asking for copies of the AD&D Player's Handbook and Unearthed Arcana for 1E. Well into 2nd edition. It was still in demand. They were still doing print runs of it and sending it out. Because bookstores and comic stores, they kept getting orders for it. Not so much the Dungeon Master's Guide, but what are you going to do? And the retro, you know, Jorge, that is a line drive into the outfield. They've got to cover it. You hit that. You nailed that, Jorge. The number of basic and expert clones bespeak that it is still popular. I mean, look, right now, I can pull up on the internet. If I had a Corvette with a total rear end, there's companies who would scramble to give me money for new Corvette. And the Chevy's like, okay, yeah, make them. You know what they're shaped like? Do it. Go. Make your molds. Sell them. Just don't tell them they're original, genuine Chevy parts. I don't understand. Is it me or is it them? It's them, isn't it? Badger. Hello. Let's see. Joe Kaufman asks, what's the Back Me to AD&D conversion like? It ain't perfect, but honestly, slap the 9 alignments in there and port over some classes. Bada bing, bada boom. Some spells, some monsters. Not too heavy on the mechanics. That's a good question, EOTB. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people who sell OD&D, AD&D, basic D&D stuff on drive-thru with a wink and a nod. Like, it's for the most popular edition of the most popular fantasy game ever. It's additionally dangerous and dark, you know. Mushroom. Anyway. So Archie is saying, I'm going to put this up on the screen. I might find this idea cool. One of your players wanted to play a character, so you said, sure. Okay. Is there a follow-up to that, though? Now, as irritating as I might find the flavor text of 5e, I will, without skipping a beat, guys, I will say that the conversion I can do in my head in about 10 minutes and have an AD&D game flowing through 5e's rule system. Flip armor classes, bring in AD&D's XP charts. That's about it. Oh, and saving throws. I would bring in the more granular AD&D saving throws. There you go. I mean, that 3 giant pillars that can lift it up and make it a more AD&D like experience. It's you know, you can bring some trim and some chrome and a few other parts and, you know, gauge clusters and so on from AD&D in there if you want, like, you know, paying to level the way the leveling system works. It's entirely cromulent. It's perfectly doable. Daniel Rowan currently runs a 1/2 E campaign. But one thing I do want to mention, I absolutely want to mention, all right, this is a nuance thing. This is not an argument thing. But I am going to say this. I mean, you're absolutely welcome to say this, to feel this way. I don't get upset about it. But I do not agree. Brace yourselves. Lots of people about to get BTFO'd, and I apologize for that. I do not agree that 1E AD&D and 2nd edition are just the same thing. They are not. They are different. I don't mix them. I would sooner mix in, like if somebody said, hey, can we start our first level game in Holmes Basic and then after 3rd level we advance to 4th level in AD&D? Yeah, absolutely. I would do that. I would mix those two that way before I would say, yeah, let's just blend in stuff from 2E. So I apologize for that. There's a guy making his own Fallout TTRPG using D&D as the base for it. Sounds pretty cool. He always did a full campaign called Fallout 0. Tim and I were actually talking about the Fallout RPG. If you're talking about the official one from, I think it's Modifus, Cubicle 7, Kobold Press. I don't know. But there is a Fallout TTRPG, if that's what you're talking about. Archie. Good question. You know, that's a good question. Cyrus Wright asked this, and I think this is a good question to ask in the chat there. Isn't Fallout like Gamma World? Kind of. So let's talk about the cataclysm in Gamma World. Gamma World takes place in the 22nd century. Well, no, let me back up. The cataclysm in Gamma World that befalls the Earth takes place in the 22nd century. If you read the run-up to it, it is kind of a slow-rolling disaster that happens over the course of like 2 years. And then at the end, there is just a huge apocalypse. But the apocalyptos that happen are not all just nuclear. There are biological weapons. There are It is implied nanomachines. There are antimatter weapons. There are weather controlling weapons. There are AIs that run amok. And so what you wind up with is stuff like herp, which are, beetles that can fire a jet of napalm and melt your character. There's the what is it, the wind scene, these insect like things. There's this grass that I haven't seen any analog for in Fallout that can teleport seed pods into your abdomen and kill you, and then you drop dead, and then you just start sprouting more of the grass. I've looked at a lot of the Morrow Project, Bob Jester, but I've never played it. Let's see. Fallout creator Tim Kaine developed the game engine based on GURPS. The post-apocalypse setting of Fallout was inspired by Gamma World. That makes sense. But yeah, you do get drivable vehicles, but I think we can blame that more on the fact that the Gamebryo engine sucks rather than, our world is different. Gamma World has a lot of dangerous fish. It does. Gamma World has a lot of dangerous everything. But Gamma World's LOL apocalypse is dialed up to 11, and I think it's a lot less cynical. Fallout in place. We've had this discussion before. That there is no reason in the Fallout universe. Fallout 7 or Fallout 4. Take an average trip through a neighborhood in Fallout 4 near downtown Boston. And yes, you're going to go through a lot of ruins, but you're also going to pass houses. Intact houses that are just boarded up. Hell, you'll pass intact houses that aren't boarded up. And yet you'll run into people who live in literally 1/8 of a house, exposed to nature, fighting off super mutants every day, living next to a radioactive pond and lying on the floor next to their sleeping place, despite the fact that there's a bed in the remains of the room upstairs. There's a skeleton. Why would you live like that? Why? It's lunacy, some of the stuff in Fallout. Now, it's been explained to me. It has been explained to me that the meta reason is the Enclave keep coming through and destroying things. So here's your Fallout lore. You know about the vaults. The Enclave planned to build generation starships for just the super rich. They wanted to see how humanity would hold up under various sociopolitical conditions in isolation. Like, what if this goes wrong in this part of the ship? What if this goes wrong in this part of the ship? So they came up with a cockamamie idea of the vaults to use as experimental labs, and people would be stuck living in them, and they would gather this data, and then they would all go to a collection point, for lack of a better term, and they'd send you, they'd gather up the best and brightest, fly to their generation starship, and then take that to Alpha Centauri or wherever they wanted to go, and leave the irradiated Earth behind, knowing what to do and what not to do. However, what they don't want is a rebuilt Earth so people can figure out who did what. So that people can't figure out that the Vault Tech started the apocalypse. So what do? they periodically cause madness, chaos. They see a society doing too well, they'll drop off crap tons of weapons with bandits. Or they'll just unleash enclave troops on them and wipe everybody out. Now, the one thing I'll say about the Fallout games from, was it BioWare? Somebody correct me. Or Interplay? I don't know. But something, if you watch the intro videos, in the later and mid Fallout games, you start to see that like cities are being rebuilt. There's vehicles, there's stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of it's laid waste, but they're rebuilding. It's been 200 years. When you come out of the vault in Fallout 4, it should be a cyberpunk setting. If we can't get around to normal living in 200 years after the bombs, probably don't deserve to come back. Black Isle Studios, thank you. So that's why things are the way they are in Fallout, because Vault-Tec is still out there somewhere and still wrecking the earth for reasons, #reasons. Fallout 1 and 2 are a lot better. That's Robert Edwin's house plan in Fallout New Vegas. Okay. So, to circle back around to Gamma World, there is no central government in Gamma World. There are no vault dwellers. You might find a Fallout shelter that people still live in. But by and large, you've got cities and communities just trying to rebuild. You've got kingdoms trying to, what is it in Legion of Gold? You've got what is the name of that kingdom? But they've got like a bubble car and then a whole bunch of other cars. There's adventures with access to functional reactors. So I would almost say that depending on where you are, as long as you're just not wandering out in the rad wastes in Gamma World, if you're near a city, things are not if you were near a city when the bombs dropped. I mean, if you're near a city that's been rebuilt and there's archivists and there's restorationists and what is it? There's a whole society of healers. There's a whole bunch of stuff like that going on in Gamma World that actually makes Gamma World a tolerable place. Hey, great old ones. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? So that's just kind of where I am on the whole Gamma World Fallout front. I like a good shooty zappy and the slight Gamma World feel, but Fallout's a different kettle of fish. Thank you, Robert Phillips. I was racking my brain. The Duchy of Horn. Yeah. So, and the Institute had spent the last 80 years making sure nothing grew up around Boston. I mean, they keep doing the whole, we're going to kidnap and replicate and then eliminate someone in your village. And then we're going to send, the replicant will walk in and it'll just be hunky-dory, like nothing bad ever happened, until that person gets activated and then unalives everyone in the settlement. Yep. Yeah, that's something else. Speaking of companies existing in the post-apocalypse, the Umbrella Corp. Yes, we want the serum, or we want the this, or we want the that. The world's been destroyed by a zombie apocalypse. It's like, what was one we were talking about? Oh, the incredibly, just absolutely, oh gosh, what was it? It was just, it was so damn depressing. Soma, that was it. I was trying to think of what it was. Soma. You'll find these notes scattered around, and like leading up to the comet impact, you can find notes and recordings from this mysterious company and its aims. There ain't no aim. There ain't no aim. Everyone and everything. You meet one living person and she begs you to shut off her life support in Soma. Everybody else is a deranged brain backup, including you. Sorry, spoiler alert for Soma. Why am I a legend, Lord Misfit? I don't think I am, but it's good to see you. 33K7 just wanted to say thank you for introducing you to the Fate of Ista's Verbobonk session. Went really well. Went really good today. Halfling party member finally got to stay at a Gnomes in LOL. Well, that's great, man. That's great. Yeah. Some of that late 1E stuff that was written by Jim and Rob was actually pretty top-notch, particularly as it pertained to Greyhawk. With that said, don't play puppets. Don't play gargoyles. Just don't do it. Spare yourself the agony. But yeah, there you can find recordings and notes and stuff like that in Soma where it's like, yes, and the evil corporation's going to do X, Y, and Z. It entirely doesn't matter. That is like, hey, look, I've got a floppy disk with all this top secret information about the company here and that built this underwater base. Who gives a shit? It literally doesn't matter. By the time you're woken up, but Simon, that's your character's name. Simon. By the time Simon comes on the scene in Soma, yeah, let me keep doing this thing. Although I will say this, I will say this. Now, Soma's a horror role-playing game, or a horror video game. It's not a role-playing game. It doesn't have stats and all that jazz, but it has. If you're going to destroy the Earth, you either got to figure out a way to go all in, or alternately, you kind of got to leave the door open that not everybody's been wiped out. And here's the reason why. And I was watching a video where a guy was talking about the two Impact movies that came out in 1994. There was Armageddon and Deep Impact. Deep Impact was like a 700-foot wide comet that was going to hit the Earth. And a chunk of it still does, but most of it is blown up. But enough of it hits that any nation bordering the Atlantic Ocean is boned. No, it's not an acronym. Bob Jester. But in Soma, there are a couple of places where you can see like the map, a computer map, and there's cloud overlay. And then there's like other remote photos on computer screens of places that have been hit. It's not that bad. I don't think it's an extinction level event in Soma. Here's the thing. If you're going to smack the earth with something and say, that's it, all humans are gone. The meteor in Armageddon is the one you want. Why? Because they tell you it's the size of Texas. It's 600 miles across. If a 600 mile across meteor hit the earth, by the way, it wouldn't look like an evil space meteor with horns and jaggy spots and everything. It would be spherical, but we can talk astrophysics later. It would liquefy the earth. It would literally liquefy planet Earth if it hit. That's not a, oh, this thing's going to hit the earth. We can't let that happen. Not too many people are surviving. That is a all, A-L-L, all, total, complete, dead, gone, no life left on Earth level event. So I get it that Soma is supposed to be depressing and scary and so on, but a comet smacking into the earth, it's a tragedy. Yes. Is it the end of all life on planet Earth? No. Yeah, Lucifer's hammer. Perfect example. Anyway. Pathos 2, that was the name of the base that you wake up on in Soma. But anyhow, that's just me babbling. I want to make sure I get everyone's comments here. I still don't understand why Lord Misfit's saying I'm a legend, but I'll take your compliment. I'll take it and run with it. So here is what's going on tomorrow night. Let me tell you all about tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Doomsword Deathmaster will be here. We are going to explain to you guys how to set up your games on the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention. Can't even say it, much less run it. Great Underground Online Gaming Convention. Info about how to register, how to run a game, how to sit and listen in. People have asked about that. That's going to be up to individual game masters, by the way. I always wanted to run the Morrow Project. I ran a horror Morrow project, but I'll get back to that later. So yeah, Dooms will be in the house tomorrow night. Don't want to miss it. Later tonight, we've got Blues Traveler appearing, if there's time. We did, just very briefly, a horror The Morrow project. Where basically you wake up in your bolt hole and your party comes out and it's not the bomb. It's Cthulhu. And I had it like 5 or 6 years after, not 150 years after, like Morrow Project did. But yeah, it was a lot of fun for the week or 3 that we did it, rather. You'd like to see the aftermath game of that? Of what? We did play some aftermath. Kyle, my co-host, ran aftermath for myself and my friend Aurora 11 years ago now. I think it was a while ago. But yeah, we ran aftermath. I had a lot of fun. We were leading up to throw down against, I think, some apes. I think we had an ape city kind of event, but we had fought a guardian robot. We had brought down a guardian robot, and I had the gunsmithing skill. So I spent a while, and I took the machine gun and the belt of ammo out of the thing, and I fashioned like grips where I could hold on to it and use it as an emplaced machine gun. And we were getting ready. Like the next week, we're going to throw down against the apes. And then it never happened. Thank you, Lord Misfit. I'm glad that you say that. I think you're awesome for tuning into my little show thing. We have some other stuff coming up. I want to answer this question for Drone Swarm before I get back to that. Was it Twilight 2000 post? Absolutely. Twilight 2000 is post-apocalypse. A medium nuclear exchange happens between all the major powers. Alliances are fractured. Cities and countries' infrastructure is laid waste. Your party plays a group of U.S. military soldiers in Central Europe. In 2000, it was presumed that the Cold War would continue onward. And it's what's called a broken-backed war, where the strategic ability of nations to fight a war has been destroyed, but there are still troops in the field fighting each other. So today we're fighting with Abrams tanks. We run out of fuel. The next day we're fighting with infantry in lighter vehicles using lighter weapons. We run out of fuel and spare parts for them. We run out of ammo. Day 4, we are fighting with grenades, spears, and thrown rocks. So Twilight 2000, it starts you off with a plethora of riches, a vehicle, and that sort of thing. But the thing is, you're never getting those back. You get into a slugfest with a T-90 in your and you're driving an Abrams, and it gets blown up and the crew manages to bail out without dying. That's it. You're walking, unless you find an abandoned wrecked vehicle that you can find the parts for and attempt to repair. Yes, I know all about Traveler 2300 and the Powers game. So what Bob is talking about over here, Traveler 2300 was a game with the premise that a European power, in this case France, came into preeminence and became the power in the solar system and galaxy, because on Earth, right after the Twilight War or the Forgotten War, France had developed faster than light travel. So they very quickly went out and started finding other inhabitable planets and started rebuilding Earth. But they worked backwards from the concept that why is France the preeminent power? They invented FTL after this apocalyptic war that left France mostly in damage. What was the apocalyptic war? Well, it was a limited nuclear exchange. What initiated it? This did. What initiated that? This conflict between the Soviet Union and China. Okay, what happened there? And they just worked backwards from it until the scenario they arrived at was what goes on in Twilight 2000. So there you have it. That's not my deep Twilight 2000 lore, but there you go. That is the canonical reason about why Twilight 2000 is the way it is, because it is the futuristic sci-fi game Traveler 2300, their timeline explained. Nope, I never played Hollow World. Saw the books, thought the artwork was really pretty of an actual Hollow World. Don't know who did that art. I don't think it was Larry Brom. It was too fluffy looking, too not spiky looking. So anyway, yes, I was talking about tomorrow night, Doomsword here, explaining how you're gonna be able to register and play on the Guac. Now, one thing I can tell you, we've already been hit by a couple of spam bots. That's unfortunately the price we pay for having a Discord that everybody can get to. And let me share that Discord with you guys. Hopefully this will work. Yes. So if you want to play the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, go to the Discord and stay tuned for tomorrow night when it officially launches. What days is it? It is the 21st to the 25th of May. Going back to convention games, will it be voice only on Discord with Theater of the Mind? However you want to do it, Jay. If you want to go voice only, if you want to do cameras, if you want to share your screen and do overlays, just however you want to do it. Discord is the nexus. How you choose to use it is entirely up to you. Sorry about that, Bob. Oh, you know, Bob, all you need is a mobile phone. I'm just saying. I'm not telling you to goof off at work. Same with you, Orbital Air. But Jay, the only thing I've got built into the Discord is a die roller. If you want to have cameras and for my board games, I'll have cameras pointed at the table. If I run any RPGs, it'll be Theater of the Mind. It's very easy. It's very, very easy, Jay. So watch tomorrow night's live stream. We'll tell you all about how it works. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bob. My apologies, brother. Now, I've got an important question for you guys. March is the fifth anniversary. Yeah, fifth anniversary of me live streaming to you guys. You guys think I should do a 24-hour live stream? 24 hours? A live stream? Do you think I should do that? Or do you think I'll wear holes in my amygdala? Damien says no. I don't know if that's in response to my question, Orbital Air, or if you're just talking about using Discord to game with. I've done 12 hours. I have done a 12-hour stream. I did like a 9-hour stream during the hurricane back in October. 2 hours. 2 hours. EOTB says, I wouldn't do a 24-hour live stream. I mean, don't you guys think you deserve that, though? I mean, really, don't you think you deserve it? being subscribers and everything, sticking with me for the long haul. And I watch some of my Doom tubers play like slaughter maps, like Coincidence and Coincident, and Decino, and who else? Oh gosh, Vitan recently doing 8-9 hour runs through of stuff like Occuplock and Cosmogenesis. And on the one hand, I want to do it, but on the other hand, I'm terrified of wearing holes in my amygdala. You guys want to watch me trepan myself on live stream? My worry is that, like, at hour 18, I'm going to get up to go to the bathroom and just fall asleep in the john. Just be like... Turn it into some kind of mad telethon. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I got to mull it over a little bit longer. I'll consult Mrs. the Dungeon Delver, and if she looks at me and is like, "Are you crazy? Is that your problem?" Then, you know. Hour 18 is where we could start getting into random arguments with the audience that would lead to bad places. Think of all my European and Pacific Rim fans that I could interact with, though, when my brain was turning to tapioca. Get some co-hosts. That'll keep the conversation going when I start wearing down, maybe. That's the question, Joe. I mean, would I start at midnight and go to midnight? Would I start at noon and go to noon? 4 to 4? 8 to 8? So Jay Tyler says, I accepted the Discord invite. Will games be directed to below the games room? Yes. So what I will be doing is, and I will talk about this more tomorrow night, I will be assigning rooms on a daily basis. Like, let's say Doom Sword is playing Keep on the Borderlands. I will change the name of the first channel to Keep on the Borderlands. And somebody else is playing Isle of Dread. The room below that one, Isle of Dread. So you'll just have to look, find, and enter. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting decision to make. I don't know about 24 hours. Ask the guys at K&K if get a consensus for me, if you would, from the lads, please, EOTB, and let me know what you guys think. 33K7 says 8 or 10 hour stream is okay. Can I line up 24 guests and have a new one every hour? Maybe. Maybe I could. Maybe I could go through. There's a few guests who unfortunately have passed on and I can never have on again. I go through and just get everybody to hop on. Not all at once. Just like, hey, if you're ever on my show, hop on, talk to me. And the fortunate people coming on at the very end. So basically, the government is putting listening devices inside my teeth. You know, it's like hour 21. Somebody's like, I just wanted to talk about D&D with you, Bill. Yeah. Bob Chester, everybody's solo. Exactly, precisely. I don't know, guys. I just don't know about a 24-hour haul. If I ever bother to run this thing for 10 years, maybe then. And that'll be perfect, won't it? Won't that just be perfect for a 60-year-old man to sit up for 24 hours nonstop? Guess at 24 hours, just go to sleep. Yeah. It'd just be like, if I do 12 hours, Jorge, you got to come on the show. I got to have you. I got to have you on the show as a ghost. How about a ghost as a guest from the Southern Coast? Blah. 60 isn't even nice. Oh wait, no, that's not. Super chat shooting down an energy drink to keep me going. I'm not doing those 5-hour energy shots. That's for damn sure. But here's the thing. I think it's so. I've told you guys this before. I love watching the car resto guys, right? Like the guy on a Clockwork Orange. Those dudes will be like, I've got to be at work Monday. Can this car? And they pan over literally to the shell of a body with nothing in it except an engine block. Can we make this car start and drive home in 24 hours? And they're like in Tucson, Arizona, and home is Tennessee. And I'm just like, what? Yes, Jay. Signups will be first come, first serve. As this is a free convention, I'm not really doing this person bought a gold ticket and they can get into your game. It's going to be up to the game masters as to how many seats they have, how many people they want to allow. Don't do 24 hours. Doom scrolling will get me after a while. I mean, I won't be doom scrolling. I'll be talking to you guys, but Orbital Air says they faked it. I don't know. Plains Drifter, Minnesota, Derek and Vice Grip Garage, Dalton Pole Barn Garage, Kevin Junkyard Digs, crap. I'm already going blank. Gosh, but there's so many good resto channels. But when to sign up to start? Tomorrow. We'll give you guys the info and you'll be able to kick it into high gear tomorrow. Do not to? Do not what to? Am confused. Oh, when do sign up tomorrow? Okay, I got you. I understood. Dylan McCool. That's who I was trying to think of. Dylan McCool. Dylan tends to stay a little local. Dylan's not the, can we drive this car 1,900 miles? Dylan's like, I have a tree line of Mopars. Let's go see if one runs. I really like those guys. No, it's fine, Jay. It's fine. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? We've kind of gotten to the point where I think any other questions are going to be better reserved for tomorrow. You guys let me know right now, and we'll figure it out. Any questions at all? All right. That's right, Cyrus. Anyway, so I want to thank you guys all for hanging out tonight very much. Big super thanks to Gonzalo Lira's Bar Tabs for that incredible super chat. You help keep the lights on around here. Be here tomorrow. Doomsword will be here. We are going to talk about how to switch your games on, how to let people join, all that happy stuff. So until then, guys, take care of each other. Be good to each other, for goodness sake. I will be back. We will come back on Friday also with some Gamma World. And regardless of what happens, 33K7, ask it quick. Ask it quick. We'll be here tomorrow, but you can ask me one quick. Are there owl bears in it? There might be roaming around outside. Thank you for the super, Michael Dale. We're about to... You guys are yelling for encore. Tell me what it is, 33K7. I am moving the mouse. No, actually, it's a button. I just got to reach up and touch. I am bringing the button forward. What is your question, 33K7, before I dump you all to credits and say good night? Waiting. All right. Well, I will see you guys next time. Be good to each other. Be ready with that question, that Temple of Elemental Evil question, 33K7. You can ask me over on X. You know, you can just drop me a PM and ask me on X. Anyway, good night. Love you all. Beware of the owl bears. Peace.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me